has been 10 years of one of the greatest anime films put to screen. 10 years after its release, Your Name remains one of the most beloved animated films ever created, directed by Makoto Shinkai. The film blends romance, fantasy, science fiction, coming of age storytelling into an emotionally powerful experience that continues to resonate with audiences today and around the world. More than just an anime film, Your Name became a global phenomenon that introduced millions of viewers to the beauty of Japanese animation and cemented Makoto Shinkai as one of the defining filmmakers of his generation. And this story really follows the character of Taki Tachibana, a high school student living in Tokyo, and Mitsuha Miyamizu, a teenage girl from the rural town of Itomori. One morning, the two mysteriously begin swapping bodies, despite never really meeting each other. And what starts as a confusing and often humorous situation gradually evolves into a profound emotional connection as they learn about each other's lives, dreams, struggles, and aspirations. As the mystery deepens, Your Name transforms from a charming body swap comedy into an emotional journey about destiny, memory, love, and the invisible connections that bind people across time and space. A story that does constantly evolve, and one of the film's greatest strengths is how effortlessly it changes genres. At first, it does feel like a lighthearted romantic comedy, and it is filled with like a lot of hilarious misunderstandings, as Taki and Mitsuha adjust to each other's daily lives. And as the story unfolds, however, the film introduces mystery, tragedy, and science fiction elements that completely transform the emotional stakes. Each twist feels natural, rewarding audiences with one of the most memorable third acts in modern animation. Now, where I come into with Your Name is the fact that I remember it was just talked about. Like, I didn't even see any trailers for this movie. I just remember there was box office talk about it. It was blowing up in Japan like crazy. And I think it was released here, but it wasn't released here long. But everyone was talking about Your Name back in 2016. Like, this was probably one of the biggest movies of the year. Maybe not financially, but just word of mouth critical. Everyone talked about Your Name. And I remember just going, well, what is this movie? Why have I never seen it? And I remember just being like, bruh, I need to see this movie somehow. I still don't think I saw Your Name till about the following year. And I found it on DVD, and I was like, bro, I need to get this. I need to see this movie. When I finally saw it, I loved it. I loved it. And the third act is phenomenally done. It's just the way he wrote around it, the way he did everything. It was like they were switching, they were switching, they were switching, and then they weren't. And then they kind of meet each other finally, and that whole thing happens again. They're given that one last chance to really, really get everything fixed. It was one of the coolest things that I'd ever seen when I saw that, like the golden hour sequence. But I'll get into that. Now, the animation, even a decade later, is one of the most visually breathtaking animated films ever produced. And if you ask me, I think Your Name is really responsible for animations in anime evolving. Because after Your Name came out, pretty much most animes were starting to animate their stuff on that type of time. I remember when the Fruits Basket anime remake was announced. I said, from the opening scene of Toru seeing the city, I was like, bruh, Makoto Shinkai do this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, animation, ever since Your Name came out, animation has, in Japan, has seemed to like really evolved into something special. Looking at Bleach, the Thousand Year Blood Work now, it's just like all of that, like all this animation. And I really think Your Name was kind of like the beginning of that change. And every frame feels handcrafted. The skies, the sunsets, the cityscapes, the mountains, the lighting, the smallest details of everyday life are just rendered with extraordinary beauty, and a lot of passion is put into this. And the animation doesn't even simply look realistic, it actually creates that atmosphere that makes every moment feel magical. It's like a, let's say if Spielberg decided to do an anime or some shit. You know what I mean? And music, that soundtrack was big. That Red Wimps soundtrack is like the movie. it like comes to life with that soundtrack. And a lot of the music is actually part of the storytelling. And even years later, hearing tracks like Zen Zen Sense instantly transports many fans back to their first time seeing the movie. And that is true. I remember I was at an event and I heard that song play. I think I heard one of their songs played, and I was just like, "This is from Your Name." Oh, I remember when I saw Your Name. You know what I mean? Like that was actually one of the coolest things. Like the soundtrack is very memorable. It is very well done. It is beautifully crafted. Now, there are some things about Your Name, like at its heart, like it explores ideas that really like transcended that language and culture. There was like love in there, some fate, memory, identity, time, distance, family, loss, hope, that human connection that is powerful when done, even in real life. Human connection is a very strong theme in everyone's life, and they capture that part of the movie perfectly. And the film just asks whether two people can remain connected even when the world itself seems determined to keep them apart. That whole thing is so rewarding. And it's like those universal emotions that have allowed the movie to resonate with audiences across the globe. Like people loved Your Name. I remember everyone was talking about the ending, everyone was talking about the middle sequence when it went from Act Two to Act Three. There were even a few times where I thought the movie was going to end, and it didn't. Me and my best friend were in the living room, like, like Your Name really did that to me. Like the first time I watched Your Name, I need to like be able to go back and get that feeling of rewatching it for the first time, because that was a very interesting journey. And I'm not going to say they didn't release it in theaters here because I'm not sure. If they did, I really missed that window because that window wasn't big. But I could only imagine what it was like seeing that in theaters. I could only imagine. And I think the reason why the movie endures like 10 years later is because Your Name hasn't lost any of its emotional power. The storytelling remains inventive, its animation is still revolutionary, its music contains it just contains a lot of story from the movie into the songs, and it continues to inspire people. Its emotional finale still leaves people moved to this day, and very few animated films balance spectacle and intimacy as effective as this movie does. And to really like land the plane on this, I think Your Name is more than like one of the greatest animated films ever made. It's actually one of the greatest animated films ever put to screen. It is just that good to me. And Makoto Shinkai really crafted this timeless story about love, destiny, and human connection that continues to captivate new generations of viewers. I think that's going to be the case. I think Your Name is going to be used in like English lesson classes in the future, or like any teacher who's like, oh, I was a nerd back in the 2010s, and this movie has a lot of great themes that I think you guys will know. I really think Your Name's going to be one of those movies. And whether you're experiencing it for the first time or revisiting it a decade later, Your Name remains every bit as beautiful, emotional, and unforgettable as it was upon its release. A breathtaking masterpiece that proves animation can tell stories every bit as powerful, emotional, and visually spectacular as any form of live action cinema. And that's Your Name. And I personally really love Your Name. Like a 9 out of like 9, between 9.5 out of 10. Like I really like Your Name. There's one anime film that came out that year that I genuinely think is a 10 out of 10 that I like more than Your Name. Now that you guys are gonna have to wait for, because I do plan on doing that as well. But let me know how you guys feel down below. Did you like Your Name? Did you love Your Name? Did you hate it? Did you think it was overrated? Let me know how you guys feel down below. Like, comment, subscribe for more. I'll see you guys on the next one.